Hello and good morning. Welcome to another episode of Cinnamon Chat with Netila. And today we have a very special guest. But before I get to that, I'd like to say that my name is Netila. I'm 14 years old and I'm the founder and CEO of Masspreneurs. And today our special guest is Dr. Sayandhan, and he is a veteran in the healthcare industry with over 32 years of experience. He's currently serving as the Chief Executive Officer of Sunshine Medical Services and Lina Manufacturing. But before joining Sunshine Healthcare, Dr. Sayandhan has had various leadership roles at multinational and large-scale healthcare companies. And he's also a distinguished Toastmaster, DTR, and a yoga Shiromani. So without further ado, I'll be bringing him onto the show. Hello, sir.
Hi Netila, how are you?
Hi, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, as always.
So I have a lot of interesting questions prepared for you because I'm sure I have a lot to learn from you and the audience also has a lot to learn from you. So without further ado, I'd like to know about your childhood, your family, what you did when you were my age.
Okay, so that's interesting. So generally those are the sweetest days of your life. And for me, I don't know whether bitter or call it a bittersweet, but that gave me the kickstart of my life because I was born in 1971 and we were together. So it was my parents, my sister. I have a sister and a brother who are elder to me. So we were all living in Kandy. We were staying at Hantana. My father was at TRA, Tea Research Institute. We stayed together, and at the age of 11 years, that was 1983, precisely 40 years ago, maybe you were not born and you would have heard, we had these, I don't know to call it communal riots or whatever it is. We were disturbed. They had the 1983 Black July. Sometimes I call it the curse of the Black July, which also gave me the kickstart. And due to that, we were victims of that 1983 riots. And at the age of 11, I had to stay in a refugee camp. So we had to save our lives. The primary thing was to save our lives. So we saved our lives that night where we were attacked. And following day, we went to the refugee camp. 2 weeks were there. And my father went on a call to UK. My mother got displaced. My brother got into the university. My sister went to Katubed. The five of us who were like one nest in a bird's nest. We got split into different places. And from the age of 11, I started to be alone, where I had to take care of myself. I felt that was the beginning or the blessing in disguise, which took a positive side of my life. So that was the childhood I remember, which helped me to go where I am today.
So even though it wasn't what you were hoping for, it has shaped you into the person you are today.
Absolutely. So no regrets at all. At that age, I would have cried. I would have had sad feelings. I miss my parents. But today I have no regrets. That shaped me to who I am. And because at the young age, I realized I'm left alone and you got to drive your way through. It helped me to come out of the shelf early in my life, especially taking care of myself.
So you were able to get that lesson at a young age itself, that you had to figure it out on your own and you had to do something to get your life in order. Okay.
Yes, and I had no choice. I was pushed into that. I had no choice. It was not an option given. I was pushed into the corner, so I had to come out of it.
So back when you were going to school, were you like a studious child getting straight A's, or were you a backbencher?
I think I would say I would be in between. I was definitely not studious. So I started my schooling at Trinity College, Kandy. So there again, I'll see how these events helped. So at Trinity, I was like, my rank was 13, 14, 15, 12. Those were the ranks when I was in school. Then the 1983 riots, as I told, what happened? Because of that, I went to also refugee as a school to St. Michael's as a refugee status. So there, I was staying with my uncle for a period of 1 year where his children were studious. They were bright sparks. So when I did the same exam, the government exam, there being a refugee going to a government school, St. Michael's, it's the same paper, and I saw they getting more marks, gave me a kickstart. Hey, what the hell are you doing? So that gave me an immediate benchmark when I was 12, 13, I was 12 years. So I started studying and need to come out. Now that kickstart, when I came back to Kandy at the age of 14 or 15, I continued at St. Anthony's College, Kandy. Then I was little bit started concentrating, where if you ask my results, O-level, then it was distinction. So I got 4 distinctions and 4 credits. And A-level, I came up to even the rank of 2. So tell you at the A-level, the person who became first in the class became a doctor, and the person who came second in the class, that's me, became a medical representative. So that's where it stands.
Okay, wow. That is it's like a big comeback for you, from going from 12 to second in A-levels. So I see after that, you have gone to work as a category manager at GSK.
Absolutely right. So as I told now, my person who came first got the marks adequate to enter the university, because those days in 1990 it was state university. Today, I mean, there weren't much global options available, which is available for a current kid in Sri Lanka today. Today there are so many options. All after A level, after O level, one could pursue the career. So those days were limited, and invariably the choices left for either you become an engineer, you become a doctor, or a lawyer. So as I told the person, my friend who came first in the class entered the university for medicine. And for me, even though I got through all 4 subjects, it was not adequate enough. So I remember my father's strong wordings. He always say, after 20, son, either you should study, meaning it's the graduation or the higher degree, or you should start working. So since it was not enough, I thought I start working. So as early as 19 years, I joined Glaxo as a medical representative. Actually, I rose up to a category manager. It was at the age of 28, I became a category manager. I joined as a medical representative at the age of 19 because that was my choice, to work and start working and then study whatever possible.
Okay, so there's a lot more to it. So you had to work your way up to a category manager.
Absolutely. So I joined in 19 years as a medical representative. So working hard was a given choice. I mean, at that age, the friends were partying. They were going for cinemas. They were going on trips. They were doing all that. For me, it was not an option. Hey, guy, you didn't enter the university. And I come from a family of graduates. My father is an entomologist. He's a graduate. My mother is a botany teacher. She's a botany specialist. My sister is an architect. Brother is an engineer. And here I am, 19 years going as a medical rep. I need to match up. That was in back of my head. So I had to work hard to grow myself in my career. And back of my mind, I also had to study. So I started as a medical rep, started working hard. I became a hospital coordinator. I'm just telling the first 10 years up to 29 years. So I started as a medical rep, became a hospital coordinator, became a product executive. And what made me a product executive in addition to work was I knew I didn't have the background of education. So I need to do something which is equivalent to a degree. So I took something relevant. So then the choices were slim: Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing or Chartered Institute of Marketing. At that time, for some reason, Chartered Institute of Marketing was more recognized. So I chose to do SIM. And I didn't have the money. I was studying out of my own money. I did only 2 subjects at a time for 2 reasons. A, the money was not enough to do all 4 together. B, I had to ensure that I get through the 2 subjects. And unlike SIM gave an option, you can do 2 subjects at a time or 1 subject at a time. So I did 2 at a time. Within 3 years, I completed the whole SIM. So when I was working hard, producing results on the other side, when I got qualified, that gave me the first promotion as a product manager or product executive at Glaxo. Then later became a brand manager when the GlaxoSmithKline merged. And then with the merger, it also gave a broader portfolio where I became a category manager. So that was my first 10 years, starting as a medical rep, going up to category manager in the 10 years of my Glaxo career.
So going to management level is not an easy task. There's a long process to it, no?
Absolutely. Not easy, but it's possible. And never impossible. So if a guy like me, a dropout to uni, can get it there, why no one else cannot is my question. So it's always a possible task, but you got to work. You need to be committed, and hard work there's no shortcut for hard work.
So now you are the CEO of 2 different organizations today, right?
Yes.
So do you use your selling skills that you've gained from your previous experiences as a CEO?
Absolutely. For me, since I come from a selling background, or I would say even communication added a lot, selling is something you do throughout the day. Now, while speaking to the audience, I need to sell myself. I need to give my ideas. I need to convince. You go for an interview, you sell yourself. I mean, there'll be so many coming. There'll be 10 people coming for interview. If you don't sell yourself to that interview panel, they are not going to buy you. What I mean is, if they're to recruit, they need to convince of you. Tomorrow from a promotion, your name goes up. And if you're not sold yourself adequately through your performance, through your competencies, you're not going to sell. For that matter, tomorrow, if it's a proposal, and then there's a bridegroom coming or a bride coming to see you, if you don't sell yourself, that marriage is not going to through. So lifelong selling works, and you need to sell and convince. So yes, I use selling, and I feel that's an important part of Element until the last day is my firm belief.
I agree. So when working as a country manager for 10 years, what kind of challenges have you faced?
So that was my second part of my life. So up to 29, I became a category manager. Then I felt I'm getting stuck there. So I joined from Glaxo. I joined Hemas as a country manager. So for my growth. So going there, my number one challenge when I joined Hemas, it was a new company, new culture, and the whole Sri Lankan responsibility. Now, Glaxo was a well-established company, process-driven, everything was there. Not that Hemas was bad. Hemas was equivalently a good working environment, but the difference was the whole responsibilities in yours. And here I got an underperforming agency. I didn't know. The 1 month sale value was the one whole year value of the two companies I took over. That was a big shock when I joined Hemas. But I thought, hey, I'm going to give. And B, when I joined, the whole team resigned for some reason. So I took that as a blessing in disguise, and it was a whole new team. And even though my designation was country manager, I said, hey, I'm going to go on the field. Let's develop this sale. So little by little, the sales started increasing. So the biggest challenges were you're totally responsible. You're left alone. You're responsible for the P&L. You got to deliver results. Otherwise, the principals overseas who have appointed Hemas as a distributor for these global MNC agents, they will not be happy with the results. They'll pull out or they will say change the country manager. So my biggest challenge was performance. And in this case, it's not me. I had to utilize the team. So first time I got exposed to handling team, though I didn't use the best of management practices. I mean, during 29 to 39, I still say I was like a Hitler. I was very aggressive, very authoritarian, just to get results because I was on fire. I had to prove myself, and I went and it worked. I mean, I always say the Elegant, one of the MNCs which I took over, which had 11% market share. When I left at the age of 40 at Hemas, it grew to 54% market share. The 27 million business grew to 800 million. So I had to show results. Of course, I utilized those, which I see as wrong methods now. I was very authoritarian, very aggressive. And those were the challenges, and this is how I overcame. And ultimately, the results came, and those global multinational agencies were performing very well.
I see. So again, working as a country manager is also not an easy thing. I used to think it's easy to be a man. To go to management level is easy. I used to think to be a manager is easy. Just tell them to do this, tell them to do that. But on the backside, behind the scenes, there's a lot. No,
I would say, Netila, the higher you go up, your seat becomes hotter and hotter, and more temporary it becomes. Because the reason is when you go to the top and there are more people, your responsibility increase and your dependency increase, and it's a very few. So though outside it looks and flashy, of course, good salary, good perks, all that comes. That's what the rest of the world sees. But also you have a greater responsibility, greater performance. So there's a good and the bad side. For me, higher you go up, it's hotter.
Hotter the seat gets.
Yes.
Okay. So then you started working as a CEO at Sunshine Healthcare, right? You became a CEO of Sunshine Healthcare eventually.
There's a little bit of there's a little bit of tweak there. So
Okay,
I was a
fill me
country
in with
manager.
it.
From 29, I went to Hemas. So 10 years I was a country manager, and it's a very comfortable position, right? At Hemas, my colleagues, they retire as a country manager. So here I am at the age of 19. I told myself, hey, I need to grow up. So I need to become a CEO or a managing director was my personal vision I had in my mind. So at that time when I hit 40, at that time legally the retirement age was 55 years. So I had another 15 years more to go. So I thought, am I going to retire as a country manager, or I want to grow? So I felt I was a person who was chasing growth from the day I started working. So I thought I'm not going to stop. And I had this dream of becoming a CEO. So before coming to Sunshine, there was a headhunter. That's the time Delmage was purchased by Valuable One, and Valuable One, Delmage came under that, and they had the healthcare sector with more of equipment and little bit of other specialty products, pharmaceutical products with them, and they were looking for a CEO. And the headhunter called me and said, hey, there's a position, would you like to come? And the chairman of Valuable One is looking for somebody who is established in the industry. So they wanted the best, but I know Delmage was not a healthcare company in the industry and not the place compared to the places I worked. But still, I took the challenge and joined just to get that designation, Methil. Nothing else. Just to become a CEO, I took that chance. At the age of 40, I thought time is up. I'm going to take it. I need to live my vision. I took that. So 4 years I worked there. Since I took that break, I was able to shift myself to Sunshine, which is another blue chip and the number 2 leading healthcare company in Sri Lanka. So since I took that move, I firmly believe, otherwise, I don't know, from Hemas, I would have got this CEO position here. Since I took that gamble or took that risk and went over there, 4 years I was there, and I made a non-profit making entity, a profitable entity, got established. We even established the medical devices. I became the president of the Chamber of Medical Devices, which gave a lot of visibility in the industry. And those good work helped me to move here And that's how I came to Sunshine, Nitila, to answer your question.
So we have a comment here from Tharindra Kalpage, listening and loving what I hear so far. Thank you.
Thank you.
So that's how you got into Sunshine Healthcare, right? That's how you got into them as a CEO.
Absolutely. Yes.
And now, what skills and what qualities actually helped you become the CEO there?
So when you're a CEO, it's a different ball game altogether. I told you when I was a country manager, I used very authoritarian, showing results, showing profit, establishing sales growth were the key one. Moment I got into the CEO shoes, I found your team became larger. So as a country manager, if 20 reported to me, as a CEO, I had 100 plus. So when you have 100 plus, you got to change your style. And you also see in your room the managers, you get senior managers reporting to you as a CEO, and invariably you will find there are people who know more than you. So you got to handle people who are senior by experience, people who know their area best than you. So at that time, I knew I need to manage them, change my leadership style. So slowly and steadily after 40, from an authoritarian style, I had to shift to more of a situational leadership because different people had different threshold. Their knowledge were at different levels. It's all about getting things done. And for me, one word is that leadership. So as a CEO, it's the leadership skill matters, and you getting things or harnessing the best out of that intellectual property of a human being, which as the human capital, I would call it, was the key. So if I can establish the leadership. So I would say leadership is the key skills needed to perform as a CEO. And that's what one will take you one higher for you to perform as a CEO.
So leadership skills is the center of it all that connects everything, no?
Absolutely. So leadership skills are needed at every level,
Everywhere.
but especially at higher level when you have a big team, I told 100 plus, then that is given. I mean, there's no choice. I don't think any other formula will work. Okay, if you don't have it, still you may survive. But for you to be successful, for you to be perform, for your team to be happy, do multiple things you need to do when you're there. So all this to click, I mean, on one side you have to show profits, one side the sale has to go, on the other side the employee has to be happy, they have to be motivated, they need to grow. So all these put in a bag, I think only the leadership skills can help one individual where you need to be sharp on those skills.
And from a young age, kids who have been becoming prefects, cricket captains, they have been developing their leadership skills from then itself.
Absolutely. Those are blessing in disguise. You won't believe, Nitila, when people come for interviews, one of the key questions, I believe in seeing everyone, whatever question before somebody is recruited, I prefer to have a chat. Not maybe some call it the final interview, but for me, it's more of a formal chat. One of the questions I ask is, have you done sports? So people wonder, sometimes the interview panel asks, why are you asking sports or not? You're precise, you're spot on. When you are that, you feel that calamity. I mean, that recession, but we went under last year, it's like you lose 5 matches in a row. It's like a recession situation. You go bonkers. And some people, I mean, see, you lose 5 wickets for the first 10 runs and you got to score 200 runs. Put the captain on the spot. What decision are you taking? How you are going to manage? So those are situations we feel practically in organization. So when you get used to mentally how to handle, it helps those leadership. You're spot on. I mean, even as a prefect, the whole school go berserk in an assembly, and the monitor is supposed to control the class, or a prefect is supposed to manage the school, gives you that skill early. But it comes in different forms and directions.
Yeah. So being a leadership is an important thing when it comes to going to CEO level and management level. Leadership is needed not only there, everywhere. Leadership is a key skill.
Everywhere. Absolutely. I would say even if you have to be a good father, a good family member, if you have to bring children, your leadership is needed. If you're a good religious, if you're the pastor or the priest of the church or the seminary or a religious place, you need leadership. So leadership is needed everywhere. And not forgetting the thing I don't want to say, even inside the parliament, what we need is leadership to take our country through and pass it. So leadership is needed everywhere. And that's one of what's going to take us through if you have to be successful.
So how can one acquire these skills to become a CEO?
So I would say it's very easy, not very difficult. Some of the leadership skills are, you need to take responsibility. You need to be honest. So these are some of the things. For me, honesty, integrity, being true to yourself is one of the key things, a leadership skill one needed. One need to be committed at what you're doing. So I always say when I recruit people in my team, or if I have somebody in my team, if you ask me, if people ask, what do you want? What are the 2 things that you're looking for in a person? I said only 2 things. A, honesty and integrity. B, commitment. I say if these 2 are there, one can go, sky is the limit, because rest I can give, knowledge I can give, experience I can give. So in addition to this, when you start working, you gain skills. Then with experience, it becomes competency. With all this put together, then you grow in your leadership journey. So the other key aspects which I may see in our country, which is lacking to be a good leader, is the communication. People need to communicate. Sometimes people don't communicate. It's a very important skill. As a leader, you need to communicate. You need to communicate to inspire, communicate to motivate. So pass the message. Sometimes the message is on the top, it doesn't go down. So you need to communicate. So these are some of the essential. I don't want to go, the top leadership skills may run into 10, but I would limit to the top 3, like the honesty and integrity. B, I would say the commitment to do things, being passionate, committed to do, I want to grow. And C, communication. And let me stop it at that 3, which can take one individual to greater heights in a leadership journey. I mean, it's not rocket science, it's very easy.
Yeah, no, it's those basic skills that you advance with your experience, then you're good enough.
Absolutely. But all that has to come from you. This can't be given by your papa, mama, or appachi, or tati, or ammi.
You have to realize it by yourself.
Exactly. Company cannot give you. So HR, together with their appointment letter, can't put integrity and commitment in their letter and give. It has to come from you. Your father can wake you today morning at 8 o'clock, but tomorrow you need to be committed. Hey, your father was waking up at 6 o'clock, but if I'm committed, my commitment will make me at 5 a.m. Read the 5 a.m. club book of Robin Sharma.
I am reading
when the rest of the world, very good, superb. So when the rest of the world sleeps at 6 a.m., you are getting at 5, and that 1 hour can give you so much of extra in your life, and what you figure out what you need to achieve. It's a big advantage. So that's your commitment. So if somebody can't be waking you up at 5 a.m., it's your commitment. Now see how it makes a difference. So this is what take you in that journey. So it has to come from you, within yourself, from inside out.
So something I've been meaning to ask, and I'm sure the audience is also very curious about, is how do you manage work as the CEO of 2 companies while most CEOs are busy managing 1?
So this is a common question. Even my subordinates and my friends ask, how do you manage? Not only that, I'm also quite active on LinkedIn and social media and Facebook. And on top of it, I do yoga and various things. On top of it, I go to the jungle, see a lot of animals, which is my hobby. I also take holidays. So people ask, how do you get the time? So it's very simple. Nothing but, for me, some of my friends, they chase money. For me, the biggest resource is time. If somebody asks, what are you chasing for? Or what is the key resource? It's time. For me, time is gone. And whether you're rich or poor, we all have 24 hours. And our life is ticking. So my time management definition, Netila, is B2C. So people ask, is it from breakfast to dinner? I say, no, birth to death. It's a journey of time management, birth to death. We have 24 hours. What we need to do in our life, we need to do within that. So it's all about time management. So to answer your question, each day I wake up, Netila, to do 20 things in my calendar. But my 24 hours doesn't allow, because if I start focusing on doing 20 things, 10 things will go for tomorrow, which will lead against the priority. I choose the most needed, important, not urgent and priority, the important and not urgent things, the priority list. I tick those 5 to 6 and do A. B, when the rest of the world do 5 things and say, I'm done for the day, I focus to do 7 things. Because when you become efficient, right, in your time management, so you can pick and choose your time. Now, for example, I may schedule all my calls while driving, not when I'm getting ready. In the morning, I put my calls off. If I answer that call, that eat my time, right? So you won't believe I stopped looking at my mobile phone while having coffee, because I go into social media, WhatsApp, that kills my time and that delays my day. So little tips like that, time management tips. So A, put your list, what you need to do, tick off the priority, do only what are results giving areas or what is important in your life. What is good for 5 years, do that today. Don't wait, don't be an ad hoc person. And all those time wasters, take it out. So if you can manage, I will see you will have a lot of time in your hand. That's why I still have time to go to the jungle. Still I have time to go on holidays and do all that. So I feel if you manage it well, and also if you have the right team to do things, which since you asked about 2 companies, how I manage. So if you have the right managers, the right team in your organization who know what to do, so I need not micromanage, go behind and say, keep checking things, which is another time waste. If I have the right team, then you can achieve, and managing whatever the task isn't impossible. And achieving a dream in the lifespan, because we may live for 60 years, 70 years, 80 years, 90 years. Nothing is impossible if you manage your time well. And the time start from the day you're born. right? I
Yeah.
always say the clock
Time is
keeps
ticking.
ticking while talking to you, 27, 38, 39 seconds, 40 seconds, the time is clicking, time is moving.
Wow. I have a question here from
Yeah.
Bhimsar Gimshan. So, as per your knowledge and experience, what's the best method to influence people?
One is communicate. You need to communicate. Open up your mouth or whatever way you have to communicate. And also you have to give the reason why. A lot of time we are unable to influence someone else because they don't know why you have to do. Now, for example, I have to influence you to stop this program. I'm saying, Nithila, I'm going off. You may be saying, hey, Sayandhan, you agree to speak and you're going off. But say, I give the reason why. I say, Nithila, I'm giving a bad example here. Nithila, my little child had a fall. She's bleeding. I had to rush to hospital. May I leave? Now, aren't you more convinced with the second than the first?
Yeah.
Right? When I say bluntly, you may wonder why. So that's the biggest mistake we do. We are aggressive and not assertive. Assertiveness gives reason why you have to do. So if you have to influence, be it the elders, your atamma or achiamma, be it your children, be it your peers, be it your boss, be it your subordinate, when you assertiveness, if you follow assertively and give reason why you have to do, and the other party buys in the reason to do, and if he's convinced, influencing become very easy. The problem is we choose the aggressive method. We don't tell why. We say do that, do this like a commando, and they feel why should I do? So if you're influencing, give the reason why, motivate them, and there should be a reason why. And that why can't be for me. That why should be for him as well. That why should be for him as well. So once that is understood, it's very easy to get your things going.
We have another comment. The main fact is leadership for your statement earlier.
Yes.
Okay, so that's how you influence people. I think I can use that as well with my father.
Absolutely. Exactly. You tell why. See, you're asking for something. Say you're asking for an Apple computer. He will say, son, here, aragale time, my no increment can't. But you go and tell Tati, I'm doing this program. I need clarity. I need a fast machine. I need this amount of GP.
I need a quality.
Yeah, and quality, absolutely. Then he will say, hey, he's asking for the reason. So then asking for nothing, when you give the reasons 10, at least 3 of them are top convincing point, then he will say, without you, hey son, I'm waiting for my bonus. Moment I get the bonus, you're getting that Apple latest Mac to you. That's how you influence. So that why need to be for you as well as for him, and a good compelling reason. And if that reason is for your benefit, for country's benefit, societal benefit, then you have a whole clan. You do certain things for the whole community, then you are becoming an influential leader. Now that's how you influence, and silently you're becoming a leader.
We have a thank you from thank you, sir. Great explanation. I'll be sure to use that technique.
Sure.
So what advice can you give to someone in sales who is trying to become a CEO or a director, or trying to get into a management level in the future?
So don't keep selling for the rest of your life. While you are a salesman, think of progressing. What are your next steps? Sales, my supervisor. How should I become a supervisor? Can I become a sales manager? How can I become a senior manager, director, DGM? So look at the career growth, what it takes. So some of the problem in sales is you don't study or you don't believe in your academic qualification. Because when you're in sales, your finance become a blind spot. So for me, when I was in medical rep, one of the biggest, to become a CEO, one of the needed knowledge was finance, which I got through my MBA. So to study that, I purposely went to University of Peradeniya. I never went to a state university, so I wanted to go to state university and do my MBA. But the blessing in disguise was by going there, it was like a classroom. None of the MBAs today, if you see most of them in the private sector today, doesn't allow you to match the profit and loss to the cent. You have to do your balance sheet. You have to do your cash flow. So I learned my finance. So coming back to the question that you asked, if you're a salesman, look at what are the blind spot area. The finance knowledge, the strategy knowledge, or the business strategy, the legal side of it, the business law. Study those through academic qualification. Get prepared. What is your career path? Keep moving. So don't get stuck and say this is the end. If you want to progress, see what things needed and keep adapting. So it depends on one's career path. And everybody can rise up to the top based on the need, based on the objective, or based on the dream one may have.
So actually, I noticed that you are also a Toastmaster, right?
Yes.
What advice can you give to kids, the younger generation, as someone who is a Toastmaster,
Okay. So Toastmaster
Myself
mainly... Absolutely. So the main reason why I joined here, Toastmasters, is Toastmasters has only 2 objectives, which is linked to leadership. Toastmaster only 2 arms. A, to communicate. B, leadership. Leadership means there are small, little subtle role which you think you're good at, but when you play that role, you learn a lot. So in a Toastmaster meeting, you may be a timer, you may be an hour counter, or you may be the president of the meeting, you may be the Toastmaster hosting the event. There are little roles. So sometimes you feel, hey, it's nothing much, but when you do it, you know what the preparation you got to do, how you handle it, which may help you in your practical or the official life. Most important aspect of Toastmaster is the communication. One is the fear of speaking. A lot of people fear public speaking. So Toastmaster, take it away. Communicate. The very key thing what helped me in a Toastmaster is more than what you say, how you say matters. Now see, I'm bringing my tone down. More than what you say, how you say. I reduce my tone. Toastmaster taught me. I become very aggressive and go loud, which gives you a little bit of punch. Toastmaster taught. So it's very important. People look at the content and learn only 30%, but how you say impacts a person 70%. These include influencing people. So delivering a sad message, I have to get into the sober mood. So Toastmasters teach that. So what helped me, the youngsters, to get early? So if you're a leader or leadership, if you want to embark yourself in a leadership journey, communication important, leadership is important. Toastmaster is a good platform, taking through you that syllabus or taking you through that pathway. And it's fun learning. It's not like going to another lecture or another exercise. It's fun learning. So that fun environment teach these two things subtly, and that helped me. So I think since 2008, I was a Toastmaster, and that helped me in my leadership journey, especially in how to say. And in Toastmasters, another good quick example I can share is you get this impromptu speaking. So people saying they call, they give a topic and speak for 2 minutes. So you got to speak off the cuff. I mean, when you go to the board meeting, it's the same. A board director asks a question, you don't know what he's going to ask. Impromptu speaking, right? You got to think off the cuff and respond. See how it helps. So this is how a Toastmaster can help a youngster or anyone. It's a good platform to help someone.
Now, I also heard that you are a yoga teacher and that you practice daily. I myself have done yoga since I was a little kid, about weekly. 2 or 3 years now I've been doing yoga, not as much as you probably, but just a little bit. So how did you become a yoga teacher?
Okay, so it started like this. I told you at the age of 40, I became a CEO at Delmage, which was bought by Valuable. And there my main objective was turning a loss entity to profit. Not only me, that whole group was running at a loss. And when Valuable purchased, Mr. Damika Parra, being the chairman, if I may mention the name, wanted that entity to run profitable. So it was very stressful. So we had a chairman, I would mention the name Chanda De Silva, whom I am grateful even today. I take pride and privilege to mention his name. He found his CEOs like me who was stressful, and towards the board meeting, we all get stressed. So he thought, I need to bring a yoga guru and let me start once a week. So there was a 3 months, once a week session at Delmage. So I went for that like a keen student, and I found the benefit. When I did yoga, I found I'm more relaxed and I found some difference. So anyway, that program stopped at Delmage for 3 months, but I found out who this guru is, and I would mention his name as well. Yoga Siromani Titus Vijayaratna is my yoga guru. He was conducting classes at Havelocks. So I started going there. So again, I was going once a week, twice a week, and that was in 2014. And then I found it increased. I started doing on my own. And during COVID, during the lockdown, we had no choice, no going on the road, no jogging, nothing. I thought I may become unhealthy, and I was also worried about COVID virus. If it hit me, how am I to increase? I know for a fact if I do yoga, that's going to increase my immunity. And during the lockdown, that 53 days, believe me, Mithila, I started doing every day. Every day morning, 6 o'clock or 5:30 in the morning, I got up and started doing yoga. Now that became a habit. Then I got the taste of it. Then I thought, hey, I'm enjoying this. I need to give back to this society. So that became the thing. Then I want to give back. I called my colleagues and started doing yoga session free at Independence Square. And then I thought, if somebody asked me, hey, what right you got to teach others? You're not a teacher. You can do. Then I thought I need to go spend 1 month in the ashram, spending 300 hours, which was last year, November. Spent a good 3 months. Got myself accredited as a yoga teacher, simply to teach back this good thing in life. And that's where I adopted yoga, and I'm enjoying it. Believe me, Nethala, I do 3 classes a week. And today morning I did. It's a totally free session. Today on Sundays, for example, I do it at Hindu Cultural Hall every weekend. I come to Kandy, and I dedicate on behalf of my parents. I do a free session from 7 to 8:30. I mean, you wanted to do this session early. I said, I have to do that and come back. The reason is that. And today a good 20 members were there. So happy, completely free, because I got the venue free. So I give it back, and that's my satisfaction, giving back, because it's something good to give back to the society.
I think we have a question here. Yes, from Kasun Dhananjay. I would like to ask you about your DBA journey.
Okay. So as I told, I started as a medical rep at the age of 19. I didn't have any educational qualification. And also my parents were all graduates. A. B. People also found, because tell another personal story, Nethila, is that I started my love affair early in life. I started at 17, got married at 22, 23, I had my son. So today I have a son at 28 years. So people at one point were thinking, hey, he is involved in those things and that's why he didn't study. And then one day one could blame even my girlfriend then, who is my wife now. Hey, is it because of her he didn't study? All those things were running in my mind. So I made an objective. I would achieve the pinnacle of academic qualification one day. And if you take the educational hierarchy, doctorate is the highest. Of course, I could have done my PhD, but for me, DBA, after my MBA, DBA was more relevant. So like becoming a CEO, that was one of my objectives before retirement. I set myself a target. Before I retire, I'm going to get my doctorate. So I did. During COVID 2019, I started and I completed. That was an objective that I had in my mind. But MBA was more of a learning. Before DBA, I did my MBA. That was to help my career. So MBA helped me to do my career better, and it helps me to do my the CEO life, as I told, especially the finance, the business law, all that learning in the MBA helped. But DBA was just to achieve and say, hey, not only I grow myself in my career, even in my academic qualification achieve. So one day, no regrets. Starting at 19 years, I have no regrets. Starting my love affair at 17, no regrets. Marrying at 22 years, no regret. Having my son at 23, no regrets. So nothing to blame and nobody can blame. And no regrets at all. All happy for what I have done. And my only thing to do is to give back as much as possible. That's the only thing I focus now.
So we've reached the last two questions that I want to ask. But first one I'll ask is, what advice do you have for parents to help them raise their kids to become successful?
So as parents, at different age, you got to do different things. Don't spoon feed. Of course, I also mollycoddle or spoon feed my children, because for me, my father was a government servant, but for my children, I'm a CEO. They are CEO's children. So they live in that comfort zone. So expose them, teach them, let them figure out their vision. I mean, for example, if I'm a marketeer, that doesn't mean my son should be in marketing. For example, if I'm a doctor, that doesn't mean my son has to be a doctor, because son's strengths may be something else, and more than the strength, he should do what he likes. So let them take their decision. Allow them to take their decision. Support from behind. Don't drive your ideas or your dreams to them. Come on, you lived your life. Let them live theirs. So as parents, I would say support from behind, guide them from behind, let them take their leadership role and take their decision and move on. So that will be my number one advice for parents.
So one last question, final one. So one last message that you could give for the younger generation watching this possibly.
Okay. So if it's kids, I would say have that dream, have that passion, and get things early on in life. When you said the intro, Nethila, if I take you as an example, you have your own brand, Cinnamon Chat, and you said you're the founder, CEO. So a CEO can become at 14. Why do you want to become a CEO at 40 like me? Right? I became a CEO at 40. You became a CEO at 14. So it's possible. Nothing is impossible. So think out of the box. So this is one method. I don't know what's your objective. Your objective could be to network, maybe to share knowledge among your friends, bring knowledge into the platform. You would have had multiple objectives, but you're doing something like that. So if you can do at 14 years, people at 40 need not struggle, but your life can start at 14, your life can start at 64. So my biggest message for the children is don't wait, don't grumble. Today people are cursing Sri Lanka, finding excuse with Sri Lanka, blaming. If you blame, wherever you go, you will blame. You go to Canada, you will blame. You go to Australia, you will blame. You go to Finland, you will blame. Person who find fault will always find fault. I will always say a person who will find the solution in every problem will find a solution, and a person who find the problem will find a problem in every solution. So whether you are an optimist or pessimist is up to you. So being a young kid, don't find fault, don't keep complaining, find a way, move out, because there are so much of opportunity out there. Nothing is impossible. So Nethila is a good example I would like to take in this case right in front of you. So if you can do it, I mean, there are so many ways. So this is just an example of one platform. There are so many you can do, figure out and do. and then go to greener pastures, right? So opportunities are high, and today it's not Sri Lanka, it's a global village shrunk into a small village. The entire world is your opportunity, and to connect the world, you need not go ahead, get out of our country. I mean, you'll log on to internet, you're connected to rest of the world. Where you stay, it's immaterial anymore, guys. People asking, should I be here, should I be there? It doesn't matter anymore where you stay, because today it's a global village. The globe is your entire target market. Where you stay, where you sleep, it doesn't matter. So you can do whatever you want. So I want give this positive message to all the kids. The opportunities are immense. 6 billion is your opportunity. Go there, connect digitally, move on. Life is wonderful, and enjoy life and be happy. Do things which you enjoy in your life, so that happiness motivate you to do more and more. So that'll be my message, Nitila.
Okay, so first of all, I would like to thank you very much, sir, for taking your time. I know you have a lot of work to do being two CEOs, and again you managed to manage your time to make time for this interview. Again, time is ticking. You took 44 minutes of your time to be here and teach us about how to become successful and your life story and how we can influence, how we get influenced by that. Comment here from you. Thank you, Netila, for hosting the insightful conversation. You're welcome. Thank you very much for tuning in, and thank you, Dr. Sayandhan, for sharing these golden words.
Sure, thank you.
So thank you very much, sir, for taking your precious time to come here and teach me and the audience and the younger generation watching this. And thank you, audience, for tuning in. So with that, we will end the stream. Thank you.
Sure, thanks.